So, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has been out for some time now, and I finished it when it was done, when it came out. I did finish the whole show, and I have a lot of opinions on it. I do. I have a lot of opinions on it. Now, I do want to preface this because I have a lot of opinions on it. Everything said in this video is my opinion, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, and that's okay. Feel free to disagree or agree. That's all right. But I have my opinions on the show, and I did want to share them. So, without any further ado, this is the review of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Overall, did I like the show? Oh, this will contain spoilers, by the way. Overall, do I like the show? Splitting that answer into two answers. Overall show, if I'm judging it based on it just being a show, it's good. Yeah. If I'm judging Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man purely on the Matrix, that it is just that I'm watching it just as a show, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think it's very good. In fact, in that instance, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It's a good show. Fairly good show. Absolutely. But that's where that ends. That's about where that ends. Because there's another half of me that's a Spider-Man fan and those who have followed me on live streams and have been following me for a while, you probably know where I'm going with this, is I, as a personal fan of Spider-Man, did not like it. It's kind of like, and for those who are going to criticize me for my opinion on this, just don't take it that seriously. Just think about it like this. I want you to imagine, we go out for cheeseburgers, and my favorite cheeseburger is, Burger King, and you take me to In-N-Out, and I say, well, In-N-Out is a good cheeseburger, like, overall, like, if we're talking about, like, just the status of cheeseburgers, but if we're talking about cheeseburgers in comparison to my favorite, then this cheeseburger does not rank very high. That's how I feel about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a decent cheeseburger, but out of all the other cheeseburgers out there, it's not the best. And in that regard, I'm going to say that young Peter Parker / young Spider-Man is a topic of conversation that has never been my favorite. My ideal Peter Parker Spider-Man is someone who is at bare minimum in college, but I really love a Peter Parker who is his own man, who he's at the Daily Bugle, he's just fighting baddies, like just standard Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I understand that the show wanted to do something different, wanted to do something fresh, wanted to because that's been done to death in the comics. Here's my thing, though, is while it's been done to death in the comics, I don't think it's been done to death in media. Like, because sure, you have that in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but you don't really have that in Amazing Spider-Man, because only in the second one does he finally graduate. You don't have that in the Tom Holland films. Spectacular Spider-Man, he was in school. In this one, he's in school. We don't really have that much media where it's Spider-Man. And I know why they do it. Because Spider-Man's core audience is people of his current age that he is in this show. High school, maybe junior high, middle school. And so they're trying to appeal to the kids, who are the people who buy the toys and yada, yada, yada. I get it from a marketing standpoint. I get it. But just as a personal fan, it's not my favorite. It's a big reason why I criticize, well, not criticize, it's a big reason why I don't like Spectacular Spider-Man that much. Because high school Peter Parker is always something that has bothered me. Now, the problem with this show is that it is high school Peter Parker, but even worse. It's literally Tom Holland's MCU Peter Parker, where not only was he in high school, but he also had Tony Stark, who was like mentoring him. He needed a mentor. In this, it's that, but worse, in my opinion. He's in high school. He has a mentor in Norman Osborn. And he now has, because Harry Osborn gets involved in the whole situation too, and they do like a Batman Beyond kind of thing, like Terry McGinnis and Bruce Wayne in the Batcave, kind of like giving him orders on what to do and what he should do in what situation and what not. And I hated that. And I tell you why I hated that. Again, remember how I split it into two things? As a show, it works fine. But me as a Spider-Man fan, I hate that. And the reason why is because Spider-Man is a very capable superhero. He is. He's very capable. He's able to do everything on his own. He made his own he made his webbing on his own. He has done everything on his own. Life threw everything but the kitchen sink his way, and he's just had to deal with it. Right? That's why Spider-Man was always one of the most relatable characters in comic books, because his life was just awful. He just got abused and had the worst. He had to experience the worst of life and still walk out of it with a smile on his face and still had to go save the day. Here, he's just got so much help. It just makes him feel like, and I know he's not incompetent, but it does give off the vibe that he is incompetent because he always needs somebody in his ear in order for him to figure out what to do. And there's a couple of moments where he doesn't have Harry or whoever in his ear, and he gets destroyed. He gets walloped. He gets his butt handed to him. And I don't like that. Again, I think Peter Parker / Spider-Man is a very capable character. Now, again, that being said, this is a different version. This is a different iteration. But again, I'm comparing cheeseburgers again. I don't really like my cheeseburger that way. But I've said my piece. I'll get off from that. Let's talk about some of the other characters as well. I love Norman Osborn. I did. I thought Norman Osborn was a great character. He's a very different version from the comic books. But that being said, we haven't seen many different versions of Norman. Unlike the situation with Spider-Man I just referenced to. So this version of Norman, he is still, as the show goes on, you start seeing him become more and more and more of a slimy sleazeball, like he is in the comics. But it kind of takes a while for him to get there, and even still, he's kind of more of just like a greedy businessman. And I'm curious to see his transformation into Green Goblin and how that's going to work. But he involves Harry rather quickly, and Harry is also a very different character. I didn't really like Harry too much. Not only was he very different from Harry in the comics, this Harry just kind of... There wasn't really much to him. He didn't really have any friends in the shows. He was kind of like a social normie because he was the son of Norman, so nobody wanted to talk to him or hang out with him, or they felt they couldn't because he was a millionaire or billionaire or whatever. But he also was like a social media star. I don't understand how somebody who blows up on social media doesn't have friends. I mean, again, that's possible, and I know that there's people out there that are like that, but at least in my experience, it's a very unlikely scenario. But all in all, I just kind of felt like it made his character kind of boring. He just kind of was nothing. Like there's really not much to his character at all. Then you have Aunt May. Aunt May was great. Aunt May was Aunt May. Aunt May is kind of hard to mess up. Aunt May is just Aunt May in this. She was great. I loved her in this. Then you have I forget her name, but she's like the best friend of Peter Parker, the goth girl. She apparently is like a character who is like decently popular in the comics, but I think it's like pretty recent. I liked her as a character. There was one part I thought was kind of like stupid, like when she gets like mad at Peter because Peter hid his secret identity from her. Get the fuck over it. What does it matter with you? Get over it. That's so petty. That's so like like if it was like I can't believe you told me you didn't tell me you had a girlfriend this whole time. Or I can't believe you didn't tell me that, your father passed away. Or something like that, like something like personal. Like, okay, yeah, like you're close enough. Like, yes, someone should share those personal details with you. But I can't believe you didn't tell me that you were a masked superhero this whole time. Get over it. Like, are you serious? Like, come on. Ned in the MCU wasn't even mad at all when he found out. And he wasn't the first to know. Right? Like, get over it. Like, that's so petty. Like, that was so, ugh. But other than that, I liked her character. I thought she was fine. She's got some kind of like magical ability or something like that. Looks like it could be helpful in the subsequent seasons. Then you have Lonnie and Lonnie's girlfriend. I'm going to get to Lonnie in a minute. Lonnie is going to take up a long portion of the video because I got a lot to talk about. Lonnie's girlfriend, which is also a girl that Peter has a crush on, she's okay. She's a really good character. I liked her a lot. It's not like... She wasn't really, like, super helpful to the plot, right? Like, you could probably cut her out. Well, no, you probably couldn't because she's kind of a big kind of point for Lonnie. But, I mean, she's not super important, but the scenes that she's in, she kind of makes stronger. Yeah, I liked her as a character. I thought she was great. Now let's get into Lonnie. Okay, so Lonnie... Here's my problem with Lonnie. His character development, his character arc, going into Tombstone did not add up to me. If it added up to you, that's great. I disagree. It felt like... I'm trying to think. It felt like... Okay. Again, major spoilers. Lonnie, long story short, Lonnie gets into the gang and gets the nickname of Tombstone and ends up slowly going from a good guy to a bad guy. But it doesn't make any sense because of the way that they built him up. Lonnie, in the beginning of the show, is like the most perfect guy, like, period. He is a great friend, a great football player, like a great student, right? Maybe an average B student, but it's not like he's failing all the time. He's like an average B student. He's a very respectful guy. Loves football and also loves his coach. Is a great boyfriend and is a great son. I'm talking, what was it, the second episode, something like that? He comes home and his brother's trying to figure out, this math problem or something like that. And he's like on his brother's butt. Like, come on, man. Let's do your homework, man. Come on, let's get your homework done. Come on. Let me help you with it. I'll help you. I don't mind. I'll help you. And his parents, anytime his parents ask for anything, what's up, Mom? What's up, Dad? Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I got you. I'll take care of that. What else you want me to do? Right? And he's doing so much for his parents. And then his brother is the one who gets mixed up with the gang, right? So Lonnie goes to the gang to get his brother out of it and all that stuff. And so Lonnie says, well, I'll tell you what. I'll trade. You get my brother out of here, I'll take his spot, right? And that's very noble of him. I feel like that's something I could see him doing, right? So he switches places. Well, it doesn't really show him liking being in a gang for like the first couple of episodes he's in the gang. And then Scorpion shows up and starts causing trouble. And out of nowhere, Lonnie starts to like really enjoy being in a gang. Like almost out of nowhere. There's one scene where they get into their first gang fight, or Lonnie gets into his first gang fight with the gang. And they go up against Scorpion before he's Scorpion and their gang. And he saves Big Don's life. Big Don is the boss of the gang. And he saves Big Don's life, right? And it's that moment that creates a bond in the gang. That's a problem, I think. That was a big problem for me. Because, okay, he saves Big Don's life. That's where he says, I saved your life, Big Don, but that doesn't change a thing. I'm still trying to get out of this gang, and I'm still trying to do what I can, when I can, so that I can pay my debt or pay whatever's needed to be done so that I can get out of this gang, right? But that's not what happened. He saved Big Don's life, and they started to form a friendship. I don't get it. I don't know how or why that happened. It didn't make any sense. Because here's the thing. Look, here's the thing when it comes to and I'm not gonna say this like I know a lot, but I do know that the types of people that join gangs, the reason why they do that is, I mean, a multitude of things, right? But they don't really have any friends. They don't really have many people that make them feel like they have any self-worth. Their parents don't really like them or give them much attention. They're a failing student. They don't really have any hobbies or extracurricular activities, right? They don't really have many of these things pushing them to be a better person or anything like that, or any type of real camaraderie between anybody. So they join gangs, right? And it helps give them that feeling that they're yearning for. Lonnie had it all. He had it all. He had all of that and more. He had a whole football career lined up for him that would have taken care of his family financially. He could have been able to pay to get his family out of there. Nope. Even when Scorpion is gone and defeated, instead of saying, okay, I know I messed up, I know I've lost a lot of track, but I'm ready to get back in serious and get back into football, no. He becomes the head of the gang. And this is right after he fights as a hero side by side with Spider-Man. Dude, it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And here's the thing is there's a lot of people, and here's the thing. There's a lot of people online who have come up with compelling arguments for why it actually does work. And I've read a lot of those compelling arguments, and a lot of the things that they say are right. A lot of the things they say make sense. But here's the problem. The way that the show explained that and showcased that to the audience wasn't very clear. And it didn't really show any of those things, despite people saying a lot of it. And I say, okay, yeah, no, that does make sense. I do get that. The show did a poor job at really elaborating on that. So it became a bit of an issue. Yeah. So Lonnie, I had a big problem with. I did not like his character development at all. I thought it was not warranted or explained well at all. But that's just me. That is just me. I mean, maybe other people out there think that as well, but that is my opinion. I also didn't like how Spider-Man got his powers. It also was like unearned. It was like, and I get it. They want to do an original take or whatever the case is, and that's fine. They want to do original. That's fine. They can do original. The problem is the spider doesn't even come from that universe. Doctor Strange is like wrestling with a Venom symbiote. It opens up like a portal. The spider comes from the portal, drops down, and bites Peter. So not only does him even being Spider-Man in the first place semi-unearned, because it was like a multiverse dimensional breakthrough, but then he is Spider-Man and needs a mentor. He needs someone always constantly in his ear talking to him to do what he needs to do. They made him so incompetent, in my opinion. Again, he's still competent, but like Spider-Man that I'm used to, Spider-Man in this show in terms of competency level, still competent, still up there, but he's, it doesn't compare. And I don't like how they did that. I really don't. I was surprised to see as much blood as I did in this show. I was really shocked to see that. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think so. I mean, that's pretty much all the points, at least I know I wanted to talk about. Animation was okay. Animation was alright. I know a lot of people didn't like it, and it's not my cup of tea either. It was okay. It was okay for the story they were trying to tell. Oh yeah, Daredevil was in this. Yep. Daredevil was in this, alright. Oh, I liked Doc Ock's character a lot. I like out of all the characters I loved in this, Doc Ock was my favorite. Because, dude, first of all, I loved his voice actor. I looked him up and I didn't recognize him. but his voice sounds just like the Doc Ock that was in the 90s animated show. Oh my god, it sounded just like him. And I loved his performance. He gave a killer performance. Thought he was great. Thought he was awesome. Him and Norman's relationship was pretty interesting. I like how he goes. Norman goes to the jail cell later and just basically is like, fuck you, kind of thing. Pretty crazy. Aside from that, yeah, it was all. Like I said, the show was okay, in my opinion. If I'm able to take my two split grades of like, I'm an outside fan, it was a good show. I'm a real hardcore Spider-Man fan. I didn't like it that much, and I combine them together, equals about, all right, it was okay. You know what I mean? But guys, what did you think about it? I think that's what's most important right now. Leave your comments down below in the description box. Let me know what you guys thought about it. And, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks so much to Matt Ponton, Advanced Hell, Ryan Wilkins, and Kame Sennin for all becoming members. If you would also like to become a member, on my channel there exists multiple different tier levels, and you can pick out which one is best for you.